Hi guys, Ben BigStuff here. Time for another V25 firmware update. So with our new free 25 firmware, you have the ability to set custom rev limiters for any reason whatsoever that you want. Okay, so if you come over here to the system menu, custom port editor, you're going to have three different columns here. Okay, custom output ports 1, 2, and the rev limiter ports. If you don't see these three columns, you have a very old version of the firmware, and you'll have to update to the current V25 in order to get this. So I'm going to click on rev limit ports, and what's going to happen here is you're going to have 4 different rev limiters, excuse me, to choose from. So you're going to have the oil pressure rev limit that we've already named here. If you want to edit this name, you can click on this middle icon here. You can change the alias, okay? So this is oil pressure rev limit. So this is enabled, okay? If this is grayed out, it means it's not enabled. If I check it to enable it, now I'm going to have a power on value and an active value. The power on value in this case is when all the output channels are not true to meet the criteria, then the power on means that it's going to be off. When all the output channels have met their criteria, the active value means it's going to go on. You can also put an active delay, so when all the output channels go true, there is an active delay based on this much time. So let's just say when this alarm or when all these outputs went true, you wanted to give it 1 second to actually let it actually hit properly. You put a 1 in there, and now that'll actually give it a 1 second delay to make sure that's not a false positive. Okay. You could also let it have an inactive delay. So when all the output channels go false, you could say, give me a 1 second inactive delay so that after everything goes false, it will then keep this logic true for 1 second. Okay. A pulse simply means that if the logic goes true, I'm going to pulse out for X amount of time. So you can just say, you know what, I'm going to pulse out for 2 seconds, and that's it. Okay. So ETM value, I would recommend to be a 20. So this way it's going to rev limit at a 20. Okay, remember, full power is 31. 0 is no power. We don't want to do anything near 0. We don't want to be anywhere near 31 also. 20 is typically a very good number, so you'll actually feel it, you'll hear it. And you have to remember too, with any type of ETM control like this, we're only talking coil unplug applications. This cannot be done with a distributor-based setup. So only if you're running a coil unplug setup of some sort through our system will this work, okay? So this programming logic is simply stating that if the oil pressure is less than 10 pounds and the engine RPM is greater than 3,000 and the throttle is greater than 50%, we're going to go true. Okay, so you could also have no active delays going on here at all, no pulse times at all going on here. So this way, as soon as it happens, boom, it's going to hit it at an ETM value of 20. Okay, so you're going to have your 4 rev limits. You can configure these for any reason you can do whatsoever. Remember, in your output channels here, this is all the stuff that you can configure it from for all these different output channels. Okay, so now if I go on my data logger, okay, you're going to be able to look this up now. This name is an alias name for inside here to know what you want to do with this, but in the logger for the time being, you're going to simply see rev limiters 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's show you that. So I'm going to close this back out. I'm going to go to my graphing and logging tab. And now if I come over here and I look down to this section here, this is where all these alarms are held. I'm going to have CPE, custom port editor, rev limit 1. So this will show active when that logic goes true, okay? You can program up to 4 different rev limiters that you want. These rev limiters can be for any reason whatsoever, though. It just doesn't have to be for a safety. You can configure the rev limiting to happen for any reason whatsoever, as long as you program it in the custom port editor. You also have to remember that whenever you're in the custom port editor here, you always have to reset the ignition. So whenever you make changes in here, you have to cycle the ignition for it to actually take effect. Once ignition is rebooted, the logic is in place and you can now be running off of this logic. Okay? If you have any questions about this, please see our website, BigStuffTPM.com. Send us an email at support@BigStuffTPM.com or send us a message on Facebook or Instagram. Thank you very much.